goosebumps every time, yeah, 713. The 281, yeah, I'm riding. Why they on me? Why they on me? I'm flying, sipping low key. I'm sipping low key and honest, rider. I get those goosebumps every time. I get those goosebumps every time. I need the Heimlich, throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you're not around me, throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time.
Up the mugs. Yes, sir.
Up the mags, yes, sir. We are
Winners.
back.
Winners.
We are back. Yes, 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 yes. Oh man, what a week! What a week, boys! This has been an absolute dream week as a Newcastle United fan. We are back. Loaded Mag NUFC. We are open house. The house is open for you to come and share your opinions on all things Newcastle United, and we've got a list of people ready to come on. But boys, it is Wednesday evening. How are we? How's things?
I'm great, Pete. Great. I said it yesterday, I think. Sat down, having my lunch, turned on the TV, working from home today. Turned on the TV. Guess the first thing I saw? Yes, Dan Burn. Dan Burn, the first thing when you turn on the telly. Then I go in to make a cup of tea, come back. Keith Downey's there with the goat. The goat's name is Dan Burn. Yes, it's just gone mad. It's the world has gone mad, and I love it. I'm here for it. Just Newcastle mad everywhere, and bring it on. Bring on more of that. But no, I'm good. How are you, Chris?
All good, mate. Yeah, a bit like yourself, Daz. I'm still in a bit of a dream world, and I don't know whether I'm really surprised by the media coverage, and I think it's only because maybe as Newcastle United fans we're just not used to it. But like every time I turn the telly on, it's like, oh, and by the way, Newcastle United won the Carabao Cup. I was like, fucking hell, like because normally you just don't hear of Newcastle United, do you? But I like how the media have latched onto it because normally, you know, let's say this was an Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, whoever it was that won it, you might get a little 5-second segment and then they'd move on. But they're absolutely embracing it, and it's great to see, particularly for us as Newcastle fans. So that's really nice. But yeah, on a personal level, I'm fine. Yeah, absolutely fine. A bit gutted because I was back in work today after 11 days off, so that felt really surreal. But I suppose you've got to get back to reality at some point, haven't you? So it was back to reality with a bump this morning. But I'm all good. I'm all good. Pete, how are you doing, mate?
I'm great. This is unbelievable. I'm in dreamland, man. I'm in dreamland. Like it's just everywhere I look. As Dad said, I see Dan Burn or Isaac just celebrating. I see a sea of black and white in Wembley going mental. I see Eddie Howe lifting the trophy aloft, and every single one of those images are iconic. It's just been the best week supporting Newcastle United ever in my 30+ years supporting this club. For all of us, people that supported longer, I'm just loving every minute, mate. I'm not going to lie. Loving every single minute. Nothing else matters right now. Forget work and all the other bits. It's just about Newcastle United. So, look, we've said our thoughts and our feelings, but we'll get people. Let's get the people on that want to talk. And we've got someone ready and waiting, haven't we, Daz?
We do, but it's. I don't know. It's a bit controversial. He could end up with the 12-month ban again, like last time. And he's not a big fan of the goosebumps. We bring him out. Surely he's going to be nice to you, isn't he, Chris?
You think he's always nice to me? Yeah, he is. That's true.
Here's our Jimmy. Welcome back, Jimmy.
Finally, the great one is back on Loaded.
It's been way too long.
For those of you who don't realize, Brandy and Blaze is where I got introduced to the people of Newcastle. back in the days on the fam for
Yeah. We lost you there a little bit, Jimmy.
over a matter. So, Steve Wraith, you unleashed the beast.
We did. We absolutely did. If anyone missed that, he did mention we unleashed the beast, and we most.
Oh, you
definitely...
didn't catch?
You back?
Oh, you're back again.
Oh my
now,
God!
Jimmy. You're back.
You know
Oh,
what
okay.
it is? Jimmy, it's all that sun behind you. That's what it's doing. It's messing with your
Okay.
signal.
It is.
Yes.
Mad. But we'll
Wheel it out.
Hold on. We're
No. I am not going anywhere.
He's going to get a bit better signal. He's on the move.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, my kid was doing drums right now, so I get away from that. But what the hell? How's that?
Yeah, it's better, Jimmy.
Yeah, it's better, mate.
better.
Yeah, I said to get back in Wi-Fi range. So
It is.
if you missed any of that, trust me, I didn't say shit, hell, or fuck. So
Oh, that's right. You have to get the beeper back for Jimmy.
yes.
Jimmy, talk to us. How are you feeling
Oh,
after Sunday? What was your initial reaction to the goals, but then the final whistle when you knew that we'd finally won that first trophy?
disbelief, especially when I'm watching with Liverpool fan, and he has a flag on his house four houses down, and after the game he left, took his flag down, and then I just kept drinking, which they should have had this on a Saturday, but because my hangover went into St. Patrick's Day. And it was so funny going to my pub, and I'm like, people I didn't even realize had Newcastle shirts. They were wearing them, and it's just like, yeah, just disbelief. I still can't. I still can't believe it. I'm jealous of everyone going to the parade. Yeah. Oh my God, dog! It's a squirrel. God.
Yeah. We can hear you fine, Jimmy. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
I saw,
But yeah,
Jimmy, I saw you having a Guinness on Paddy's Day. How was the Guinness for you?
well, that was the first one, and yeah, Guinness just goes down so nice. I mean,
Oh, mate.
I wouldn't know.
Massive fan of Guinness.
I mean,
Massive fan of Guinness.
even though that that low grade Guinness we get over here, it's still nice. You guys get the good stuff.
The good stuff. Oh, the good stuff.
Yeah.
Jimmy, who was your who was the standout performer for you on Sunday? I know a few people, have mentioned different names, but who was the one player that you came away from on Sunday and just thought, yeah, absolutely brilliant? Who was your man of the match?
Joe. Big Joe.
Yeah.
They had no answer for him. He kicked the shit out of that entire team at least twice. It didn't matter where you were playing. I mean, the guy is a beast.
Yeah,
he is.
Dog, let's calm down. Okay, yeah. Thank you, fans. I'm getting it, like my little things are popping up. They're like, nice to see you back with the boys.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Hey, don't blame me. Blame the boys. Having morons like Ralphie on. I mean, I'm adding some class to the show. Nobody wants Forest fans.
You asked them, we delivered. So there you go.
Hey, I just want to check something. Adam, do you like Forest fans going on our show?
I'd give him a miss, I think.
See,
Thanks, Adam.
that's
He's
a
great.
smart man. That's a smart man.
Get it, lads. Get it, lads. Love it. So
But
look,
still, it's yeah, it's only bigger and better from here.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
was part of the question I was going to ask you, Jimmy. Is what do you think is going to happen next? Like, is this going to be the catalyst now to bigger and better things? Do you think
Yeah.
the question that seems to be going around everybody's lips, and now that we've got the trophy in the cabinet, is, you know, is this going to spur us on to get Champions League football, or is it going to be a little bit of a hangover? How do you see it now for the rest of the season, mate?
Well, for the rest of the season, I'm not going to say top 4. I will say 5 though, and 5 should be good enough.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Unless Forest has just a major drop off,
Mm.
which, you know, as much as I hate to say it, isn't going to happen, even though we kick their asses here. But yeah, and then it's going to come down after that to the summer. I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah, trophies every year shouldn't be a thing we you know, hope and pray for. I mean, they should be what's expected. We should be walking away with some sort of silverware every year.
Yeah. We've started it now, haven't we, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Sorry, Pete. I was going to say we've started it now. What I was going to ask you, Jimmy, do you think Champions League qualification is key to keeping our best players, or do you think that trophy win is going to ensure that we keep the players that we want to keep for next season?
I think that anyone who has any thought of leaving the club is going to get a big smack across the face from PIF. You're not going anywhere. I mean, Barcelona can't afford anyone more or less he's at. I think everyone will be back. I think that celebration they got, and they already knew they were loved, but that celebration afterwards, you saw how much, you know, the fans coming out showing even more love than they showed before. I mean, players on the ground crying. I mean, they know they're legends now. Why would you want to go anywhere else?
So true.
Jimmy,
I mean, one little rules tweak means not only can we pay our best, but we can bring in even more of the best. So go City, win your damn case.
open the floodgates. Jimmy, I was going to ask you, what's it like having Mickey back home?
I mean, they love him here. He's been a little underwhelming. But, you know, it's a shot in the arm after the last couple of seasons that they needed. It's going to take him a little more time to gel with this group. But yeah, I mean, he's just as revered here as Martinez was, if not more. But yeah, I mean, it's you know, it's fun. It's, you know, there's a bounce back in the stadium again. So yeah. But Latte Loth is, that kid's got speed to burn.
Definitely want to keep an eye on then, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, 2 goals in his first game. He was carrying a little ankle injury. But that, you know, he should be back to full speed now. But yeah.
Jimmy, we've got a couple waiting in the background, so I'm going to ask one more question just to wrap up. For anyone that's wrestling fans, this will be one that will be very interesting for you. Cody Rhodes or John the heel Cena? Who are you going for, my friend?
I mean, Cody lives here, so, but it just, seeing that promo last week with Cena, you just if Vince had done that earlier, it would have been a lot more interesting. That promo was just right there on par with CM Punk. I mean, it was great.
It was.
So he's interesting again, but yeah, I mean, granted, most of them live around here anyway. So, but yeah, Cody's our boy. But it wouldn't surprise me if he dropped it.
That's my thoughts. But
Yeah.
a few others in the-
SummerSlam, the rematch.
Yeah, definitely. Jimmy, look, this is not the end. You will be back at some point, but we're gonna let you know. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, my friend.
Yes, Jimmy.
And everyone, super chats. Get your wallet out. Don't be cheap. Give this channel. They work hard. Just my boys. Same thing. If you're gonna watch Toon Review, give it. Open the wallet. If it matters, same thing. These are my three. So support the channel.
Thank you.
Cheers, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jimmy.
All right.
You take care.
All right.
Enjoy that sun.
Love you guys.
Take care, buddy.
Take care, mate.
Bye.
Top man. What a guy. What a guy is
Lovely
Jimmy.
bloke.
And, great to have him always, and he will be back. You've talked to him all day. He's just such a great guy. You're absolutely right. Genius stuff. But well, look, we're going to keep the ball rolling because there are people waiting in the chat, and let's get the next one in there. We didn't see him on Top Table Talk, so come on, let's get him in, man.
Let's get him on. Adam, welcome back.
What an honor. I thought, you guys have got, trophies and things like that. I thought I'd get booted for someone more, special. So it feels privileged to be here. Congrats, boys. I was very happy for you lot at the weekend. I think, well, anyone that's not Sunderland or Liverpool was happy for you. And that was the way they wanted to see it. But the manner that you guys did that was the impressive part. You didn't steal it. It wasn't luck. You smashed them. And that was nice to see.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, mate.
We spoke to a few fans, on Top Table Talk Tuesday. We were kind of asking, the likes of Villa, Rich as well, Wolfie that came on. I mean, it does feel like it could potentially spur other teams on want to sort of emulate and do the same. And you're still in the FA Cup. Did that kind of give you that feeling when obviously we won, first time in 70 years, like the reaction and everything that's gone around it? Did it kind of give you that feeling to say, you know what, let's go for it, let's go for that FA Cup? Like, did you have that sort of feeling about watching the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you don't get a little bit of envy from that as the smaller side, I don't think you're a proper football fan, right? Because it's so nice to see clubs that aren't consistent trophy winners win something, because it gives you the belief that, all right, hold on, they've done it, we can do that. But I think the other thing it showed as well was, we've been talking about all season, right, how the Premier League is all over the place, but there's been pretty much two consistent. The bottom three teams are tragic and they're going down, and you got the one at the top who no one loses to, no one can beat, right? But now we've seen that Liverpool can be beaten. They've been beaten multiple times in the same week. They are beatable. So I think it just shows you, like, no matter what competition you're in, no matter who you're facing, no matter what it is, no one, I don't think, anticipated the manner of which you would win that game. Maybe you could guess there was a Champions League hangover from Liverpool, but I don't think there was ever an expectation that, you know what, Salah's not going to do anything, just going to do nothing. Like, no one was calling, no one was predicting that Salah was essentially going to have his statistically worst game ever, right? Because that's basically what it was.
Yeah.
Like, you called that, you were nuts. So, yeah, it gives some hope. It gives some hope that anyone can actually go ahead and win something.
Do you think, Adam, it also kind of give you a little look into the future as well, potentially for Liverpool fans? Because we've spoken many times, haven't we, on Top Table Talk and other episodes about the fact that, you take Mo Salah out of this team And where does that leave Liverpool? And the fact, I know obviously Mo Salah was in the 11, but he wasn't as significant and he wasn't as prominent as what he's been in previous games, throughout the season, previous seasons. Do you think that worries Liverpool fans slightly, in that if the main man doesn't turn up, or if the main man's not here anymore next season,
they've got to be worried. They've got to be worried, haven't they? Because we're seeing now the Liverpool that everyone thought they were at the start of the season. No one predicted Liverpool to run away with the title. No, I remember this show. We did the predictions. Everyone predicted the same top two. The same top two. It was City, and then Arsenal were guaranteed their second place by the grace of God. And Liverpool were somewhere else, fourth, fifth. I don't know. No one was really thinking about them. Everyone looked at their investment in the summer. You get an injured Italian coming in who's never really set the world on fire for a consistent period of time, and an unproven manager. And they've gone above and beyond what everyone thought they were going to do. But now maybe they are regressing to what everyone thought they were. Now, you can't take away from how dominant they've been in the Premier League, right? No doubt about that. But every team starts to fall off. And again, I'll go back to what we were just talking about. How you beat them and how PSG beat them. Because let's face it, PSG, the first leg in Paris, Liverpool should have got battered about 4-0. Yeah. No way they should have walked away with that, with the win there. So, if I'm a Liverpool fan, well, firstly, I'd hate myself. But if I'm a Liverpool fan, I would be very, very nervous about the future. I hope so. My hot take is I think Salah is one of the most overrated players of all time. And I know people will point to the stats and everything like that. He's a cut-in merchant. He cuts in and pings it with his left foot. He's really good at doing that. I think when people start talking about Salah in the same breath as Messi and Ronaldo, no way. They're not in the same stratosphere of player. Not close.
No, it's a good argument. One that maybe Chris needs to drop into his group chat with his mates.
You know what, Pete? Just on that subject, and I don't want to go off on a massive tangent, but a few years ago, I was sat on a train on the way to London, and I got talking to this girl who was sat opposite me, and it turned out she was a football agent, and she represented one of the Egyptian national players. She said it's not Mo Salah, by the way.
Mido.
Well, yes. She started talking about Mido. And we got talking anyway, just about football in general, and talked about Newcastle. And she said to me, she went, you know what? Mo Salah, by the way, is one of the most overrated players in history. She said he's not even the best Egyptian player. She said Mido beats him every day of the week. Yeah. Left, right, centre.
They loved him.
Yeah, they loved Mido. Absolutely loved Mido. She said he's doing the business at Liverpool, can't knock him. But she said talent-wise, he's not that good. She said his numbers are brilliant, but he's not that good a player.
I completely agree with that random woman that pretended she was a football agent on the train.
It was weird. It was a weird conversation. It was a weird conversation, but she knew her stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
That is a weird story. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
It makes Adam. Really... Go on, Dad. Sorry, go on.
So, Adam, next up in the league is Villa for you guys.
I'm not thinking about the league next. No, I'm not thinking about
it right now.
Yeah. At Villa, the Villa game's going to be interesting. The Villa game's going to be interesting. I think it's winnable. And I wouldn't have said that about pretty much any Villa game in recent history. But I think this one's winnable. I don't believe in Villa this year in the Premier League. So we'll see. It's going to be such a knife fight now for these places. And, as Jimmy was talking about, and I see people in the chat saying that you guys are, you got to be finishing fourth. Worst case scenario, got to be finishing fifth. The chat's popping off after your story. There's no guarantees now. There's no guarantees.
No, there's not.
She might even have been a woman, really, Adam. There's no guarantee that
there's no guarantees. No, I don't believe any. She didn't even talk about Salah. I don't know. How much did you have to drink?
It was first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning from Liverpool to London.
Same question. I'm looking at the table right now still, and it's anyone's. Are you guys worried a little bit that the opposite might happen? Of you've got this galvanizing thing that's happened. Everyone in Newcastle it's the best day of a lot of people's lives. the players are ecstatic. There's been an incredible bond formed. I think everyone was like moved by Bruno's speech and things. And I was so happy for Big Dan Burn, like all those things. Do you worry there might be a bit of a hangover? Like the players feel like it's mission accomplished and the remainder of the Premier League season, they're not able to keep that level up? Because you guys have been inconsistent here, right?
Yeah.
I'm hoping
Yeah,
it
but I think it'll kick them
galvanizes,
on.
to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I hope it galvanizes the players, because we're going to be looking at it now and going, do you know what? We've got 10 games left. 10 games to make this a dream season into like an unbelievable season. Champions League qualification and also winning the trophy. Like, that's stuff dreams are made of for a Newcastle fan. And the finish line's there. There's an opportunity. We were speaking about it, Adam, before the Carabao Cup final. Me and the lads in the chat going, bloody hell, these results haven't half landed well this weekend. Obviously, we were all focused on the Carabao Cup, but we're looking at all the Premier League results going.
We should have beat City. I'm so annoyed. Anyway.
You did a job there. You got them dropping points, so it's opened it up to everybody.
Yeah. It really Are you guys, just one quick question, are you Eddie Howe in now?
Don't even do that. Don't do that, you big wide I'll end it on this question. You I'm gonna end it on this question just because I've got a couple of boys waiting in the back. And it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, Adam.
Of course.
Where do you think Newcastle and Brighton, throw Brighton in there, where do you think they'll finish at the end of the season?
I'm not against betting you guys 4th or 5th. I really do think you're going to get one of those, which is Champions League football this year, right? I'd love to see Forest fall off, but every time we keep thinking they're going to do it, they keep surprising us. I think Chelsea are frauds, City are frauds, and you guys have just done the thing that no one really expected you to do. And I agree. Like, I asked that question, but I think you guys are really going to kick on from it, and I hope you do. I would quite like to be in and around that finish there as well. Champions League football is probably a bridge too far for us now, but getting back in the Europa League would be incredible for us. Incredible season. A 31, 32-year-old manager doing that in his first season would be monumental for us.
Well, I'm sure we'll be talking about it on the panels, top table talk. We'll be getting you back on as the weeks go down. But
I'll take an FA Cup. I'll take one of those as well.
You can have it. You can have it.
Yeah, you guys don't want it. You stepped away from it. You need to focus on the League Cup. It worked. So
we can say that we lost to the winners. So
see, win-win. Congrats, boys. I'm very, very chuffed for you all. Well deserved.
Cheers, Adam.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, pleasure. We'll be in touch. We'll get you back on for Top Table Talk shortly when you can make it, mate. But pleasure as always. Legend.
Sounds good, boys. Catch you later.
Take care, mate.
Right, I think, boys, because we are running behind slightly, and I know
to pick up the pace.
One of our guests hasn't got too long, so we're going to bring both of them on together because these boys know each other. Right?
They don't really know each other, do they?
They know the score.
Yeah.
Let's introduce them one at a time. But actually, both are at the game, so let's bring them on together. Fumbe, still jealous that you got to the game, and Johnny. Welcome, boys.
Yeah.
Evening, boys.
Evening, lads. How's it going, man? How's it going?
Good.
Cloud 9, mate. Cloud
9. Look, from you were both at the game. You both soaked it in. Just from your perspective, just give us a flavour of the atmosphere, the reactions, the celebrations. Just give us that feeling of what it was like being there to experience that historic moment, boys, because it really was historic.
It was. Go ahead, Johnny, go first.
Yeah. Oh, cheers, Fumby. It was so calm before the game. It was so calm in Covent Garden. It was so relaxed. It was un-Newcastle United, if that makes sense. And I said last week when I was on, it was case like against Man United. It was we're like a kid at Disneyland for the first time. All the bright colors, all the bright lights. It was like, wow, this is amazing. It's never the same second time around, and it wasn't. It was very calm. It was very nice. It was very relaxed. But as soon as we got into the ground, it was game mode. It was game on, and it was, we're going to bring it home. You know, it was just incredible. Like I've been following Newcastle for a long time, and I've seen some poor games. I've seen some poor players. I've seen some horrendous results. I've seen us lose cup games to, you know, second division, third division teams, and all for that one bit of glory, that one bit of, you know, our day. It's our time. It's our day, and that was it on Sunday. We played the best team in the league, and we battered them. We absolutely, like 2-1 flattered Liverpool on Sunday. I watched the game back yesterday. Obviously, it's easier watching it back now, particularly the last 3 or 4 minutes. But it was absolutely brilliant, and we should have won by 3 or 4. We had chances, like Jacob Murphy had a chance, Tonali had a chance first half. Bonds shouldn't have passed it back. When I look back now, I think he should have just had a shot. But when that final whistle, when the referee put the whistle towards his mouth and blew that whistle, I just fell to my knees. I fell to my knees at Wembley. It was just, the emotions got the better of me. Like, I was crying. I was just thinking of people that should have been there who can't, unfortunately, not with us anymore. And you know, there would have been thousands amongst thousands of Newcastle fans that would have taken my ticket in a heartbeat if I couldn't go. But the emotion of it was the thing that really stuck with me. The amount of tears from, like, we're talking about grown men. You know, men don't cry, apparently. Do you know what I mean? And we saw thousands amongst thousands. I'm sure Funby will back me up. It was just amazing. It was absolutely incredible. But you just didn't know what to do after the game. We won a couple. What do you do? What do you do? I don't know what Funby did, but what did you do, mate? I was stuck.
Johnny, you both yourself and Sam asked that question. I remember because I watched the video. What do we do if we win? Because Sam didn't know what to do, and so you didn't have that prepared anyway.
No one did though. But like, I think everyone went to their own different pubs and whatnot. We actually saw Tino Livramento after the game, as he was walking down Wembley Way. And it was quite funny, actually. We were like, get in, Tino, absolutely get in. It was class. So he's always like smiling away. And then some geezer, Geordie geezer, was like, oi, Tino, let's sell out your back pocket now, mate. And he started laughing at that. And then we bumped into Shay Given. And I was like, I've got to get a picture of Shay Given. I just got to. So I've got a picture of Shay Given as well. So, yeah, I'll be. It's one of the best days I've ever. Well, possibly the best day ever supporting Newcastle United on Sunday. But yeah, it was just absolutely incredible.
Love it. Funby, talk to us, my man.
Listen.
Has Funby got contacts? Is that what it is like? Is that how he got in?
I think it's just the light in my house.
Right.
It's just a gleam from the light that's just shining down, you know. Since we won that cup, I've just been having this aura around me. I don't know what it is, guys. I can't control myself. Hey, listen, on the morning of the game, I was in Manchester. And I came down from Manchester early in the morning. I took the coach down. And there was like 3 Newcastle fans on the coach. And as I get to London, I get to Golders Green. I come off the coach. I see Newcastle fans walking around. And I just had this feeling like, man, today might be special, you know. I don't know. I don't want to put it out there like that. And like Johnny said, man, it was calm. I went to the game. I got on the train. And you just see Newcastle fans. They were bantering with the Liverpool fans. There's no animosity between both fans. So it was really respectful. And I walk into the ground and I'm feeling the energy. I walk into the ground. I wasn't ready for, to see a whole bunch of black and white scarves everywhere. It just threw me for a second. And the weird thing about the game was I was not nervous once, which was getting on my nerves because I'm like, when is Liverpool going to start peppering our goal so I can start feeling the anxiety that I need to feel? And it never came, even when they scored. Because you know how football is. I know a lot of times, sometimes you reap where you don't sow, but they had not earned anything from us for the whole 90 minutes. That goal came because Bruno was doing Bruno shit in the 95th minute and turned the ball over, which we screamed at, and they scored from it. But one thing that saved us was the VAR check took so long, it killed all Liverpool's momentum.
Yeah.
So even when they got the ball back, they didn't know what to do with us. And the time-wasting skills we brought to the table, mwah! I mean, I was cheering corners like it was a 40-yard shot. And then I knew when they lofted the ball in and Van Dijk headed it and John Linton headed out, I said to myself, oh my God, this is it. Because there was nothing else to play there. When they blew the whistle, I didn't even know what was going on because it was just like, wait, hold on a second. We've won the cup. And I just lost it after that. Like I hugged everybody in the stadium. I think I hugged Johnny at one point.
I wish I saw you from. I would have given you the biggest hug.
Oh my goodness, I would have cried because it was unbelievable, guys. I've been to many Newcastle games. Never in my life did I think I'd go to the game where we win our first trophy. And not just win it. Like, I know people are getting onto Salah and they're saying, this and that. Salah's a world-class player. But after what Liverpool did on Tuesday, the last team in the Premier League they wanted to face was Newcastle. They didn't want to run with us. And after that, Joe Linton, remember Joe Linton took the ball off Kwanzaa? When he did that, I saw the Liverpool player saying, it's just a Carabao Cup, man. Jeez. Are you on it this bad? They knew we can't get this off these guys. And then we had the quality this time, guys. We had the quality to score key goals. That Isak goal, I've seen it 355 million times already. It was not easy. And Jacob Murphy, credit to him, because when the ball went in, all I said was, because it wasn't a great ball, all I said was, Murphy, just get the knockdown. And he got the knockdown. And then we have the quality now. Back in the day, that'd have been a Joe Linton, maybe an Andy Carroll. They might snatch at it. But we had Isak, and he tucked that away like it was a penalty. And at that point, I said to myself, we might just do it today, man. Yeah. I credit the whole team. And the person I'm happy for the most, I know I'm going on, is Eddie Howe, man. Because remember, they called him the caretaker guy, the Mark Hughes of our club, who's going to just set the standards. Bruv, he brought a trophy in 3 years. He brought a trophy to Newcastle. It's crazy, bro. I never thought I'd see that. So salute to Eddie Howe, and we should continue to back him. And it was the proudest day of my life as a Newcastle fan, man.
It was class. It was absolutely amazing. But it was actually the second best thing that weekend. The first bit was seeing Sky Sports. Peter's back on Sky.
Sky News.
He couldn't help himself. He couldn't help himself.
You've been all over the shop. Don't
you
do that.
Couldn't help yourself. You could not help yourself. As soon as Newcastle win a cup final.
Big smile.
Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, of course I'm free. Of course I'm free. Yeah, anything for you, Sky. Anything for you. God. Pete Graves goes away to watch the cup final. It's all right. We've got another Sky Sports, Pete.
You wait. You wait till I see you wind up.
Can I just say, lads? I want to say quickly. I just want to say something quickly. When Dan Burn got the call up for England, I put in the group, Tuchel's just handed us the cup. And everyone's like, why? This is me. Burn's going to defend like Prime Ramos. Why did he defend like Prime Ramos? I knew that England caller was going to give him something else.
Yeah. Can I ask Chris a question? Because obviously, because from you, it must be a little bit different for everybody else. Because a Newcastle fan, in Liverpool, when you play Liverpool, it must be like I don't know where you. I don't know if you watch it in London, Liverpool, wherever. But how strange was it watching Newcastle just beat Liverpool, but not just beat Liverpool in a cup final. They're basically the cup final kings. Even when they weren't very good in the 90s, they still win cups. Whenever they weren't very good in the noughties, they still win cups. Yeah. Even when they're not very good pretty much before Jurgen Klopp was, they still had a League Cup to celebrate. How does it feel when you're in that particular city when they win all the time, and we actually got the better of them and we don't win all the time?
Mate, it's mental. Like I was saying to the boys, I was just like an emotional wreck. I was emotional wreck before the game. I was emotional wreck during the game. Same after the game. And I think you're right in what you're saying, because I think all the emotion got to me because I thought I've been here so many times. And you always, you're coming up to the game and you think, nah, we're going to get beat. We're going to get beat. We're not going to win. You know, even when we just play Liverpool, just in general, I always think, oh, you know, we're going to get beat. Then it gets nearer and I go, do you know what? I think we could do something today. I think we might have a chance today. And then we get battered. And then, like, I was watching it and I watching the game and I was just thinking, this shouldn't happen. This doesn't happen. What's going on? And when that Isak goal went in, I was telling the lads, and then he broke me telly cabinet because I was banging on the telly cabinet and my wife was going, what are you doing? And she was in the kitchen and I was like, it's 2-0, it's 2-0. And I just couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. It was just unbelievable. It's hard to describe, mate. And, you know, in fairness, a lot of Liverpool fans, they've been quite gracious.
I agree.
Saying, well done. They've gone, yeah, you know, obviously there'll be some who aren't like that, but a lot of them have said, well done, you deserve it, you've waited long enough. It's a good feeling, isn't it? And you know, so there is a little bit of respect there as well. The Everton fans have been worryingly quiet, and I think that's because they're a little bit jealous, just a little bit. But no, it's been surreal, Johnny. But honestly, it's so good, so good, because for all these years of being in Liverpool's shadow, because that's what we've been, just in their shadow, and you know, me, you know, waving my Newcastle flag, and everyone's just like, yeah, pipe down. Even when you're having football conversations, yeah, you're a Newcastle fan, shut up. You don't know what it's like to win trophies. You don't know what it's like to win football matches. Do you know what I mean? So it was, yeah, there's been a lot of gloating going on, Johnny.
Johnny, can I ask you a question? How's your brother taking it? He's a Liverpool fan, yeah?
Yeah, he's a Liverpool fan, Nick. It's, do you know what it is? It's actually quite, I don't know how to best describe it. I haven't actually seen much of Nick. And it's not through choice. It's just that he has work. I've obviously been away. I saw him briefly for about 5 minutes, and he didn't mention it at once. So I thought I'll not mention it. Sometimes it's better to wait to have the conversation. But I think he did. I'll give him some credit. A bit what Chris said before. The game finished at just before 6:30, and I got a message off my brother at 32 minutes past 6 saying congratulations. So. And he's seen Liverpool win everything. He's seen Premier League, Champions Leagues, FA Cups, League Cups, Club World Cups. He's seen them win everything. I wouldn't say Liverpool are a second team for me. I don't think I've really got a second team. But if say Liverpool and Man City would battle it out for the title, I always want Liverpool to win for him. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of just that kind of side of thing. But it's. I think like we had a bit of banter on the Friday before I went, and I said, oh, because he was like, oh, whoever wins, the other one has to text congratulations, and I thought, oh, I'm not going to get reception till 7:30, so I think you'll be all right, Nick. But no, I haven't really spoken too much about it, to be honest with you, Daz. But you know, it's just Look, I was always thinking, and I don't know what was going to come first: Newcastle winning a trophy. Or loaded mag beating a Newcastle fans TV.
I knew it. That was the reason for my question.
Imagine the double. Oh,
honestly,
to dissect to us, and he
honestly,
fallen out, and he couldn't come join loaded.
Fumby, do you know what it is? I had them all on string there. Do you see them all fight up and just go like that? Shocking, isn't it? So it's easy for me.
You might as well announce it. The charity match is confirmed. It is happening for people that are watching right now. Tell us a little bit about it, mate.
Yeah, it's all confirmed. 12th of April, 4:00 kickoff. So it's a later one. But it's just because that was the only time we could get it. I'll be really honest with you. But it's for the National Autistic Society, so we're going to try and see if it raises £250. We've got about 25 days to do it, so almost like a tenner a day, which is a bit of a challenge. But the Loaded family have been absolutely fantastic over the years, getting funds in terms of donating for a really, really good cause. And I know we try and do exactly the same here at Newcastle Fans TV. So there'll be a few shows on our channel. There'll be a Green and Mullen show for the next few weeks. We'll probably normally do about one a week, so we'll anything that we do raise, we'll obviously put it towards that as well. So that'll be really, really good. But yeah, we're just, again, like, I know banter aside, and I know I want to win, you want to win, I want to win, you want to win. We always have a good time. We always make a good day out of it. So yeah, looking forward to it one more time on the 12th of April, the day before the Man United game. People can come and watch. It's going to be filmed, so they'll have it all out within. He might have it out in the evening, if not the evening the next morning, because he's like that. So we'll see what happens. But you know, I think the bookies have already got their odds out. Newcastle Fans TV are the slight favourites to retain their trophy, and this wonderful trophy just here. So that's what you've got to aim for, boys. If you want to win it. If you don't, and you just want to take part and have a bit, and you know, just have a bit of a kick about with the boys, that's more than welcome. We'll take the trophy home.
3 years of pain.
Well, you know,
Johnny, serious question for you.
Yeah,
serious question for you, Johnny. Someone comes up to you and makes you an offer, and he says, "Give up the Carabao Cup trophy to retain the charity trophy." What are you doing?
Oh, no, after Sunday, you can have the charity trophy. I'll be putting it in the. I'll be getting the trophy. I'll be getting the polish and going, there you go. Just make sure you look after it, Pete. There you, or Chris or Daz, whoever looks after it. There you go. You can just look after it. But no, do you know what it was though? I'll tell you. This is an interesting question actually. So one of the lads sent us that on Wednesday last week, and he said, Newcastle. If I can guarantee you that Newcastle win the Carabao Cup, but Aston Villa win the Champions League, do you shake hands and take the deal?
That's a great question.
That's a great question.
I said reluctantly yes.
Yeah.
Reluctantly yes, because I just thought, how good would Sunday be? And it was. So I don't want it to happen. But when the question was asked, I said yes, very reluctantly though.
Don't worry, PSG will do the business. I'm already on to my brother to make sure that happens.
Oh, please!
And out of interest, boys, only because I'm not fully au fait with the rule changes and stuff like that. If that were the case, Johnny, and Aston Villa were to win it and we finish fifth, does fifth get taken off us? Or
no, it doesn't. No. So it's weird. The Premier League actually had something yesterday when obviously, well, it might be Monday actually. And they said there's a possibility of a team who finishes 11th could be in Europe this year. So you have the top four in the Champions League. The fifth place is the extra Champions League place. 6th, 7th, 8th feels like Europa League and a Conference League. Spurs win the Spurs win the Champions League. Excuse me, Europa League. Or something to do with like that. It's absolutely bonkers. But yeah, one of those things. So if you don't have to talk about it,
Johnny, just before you go,
yeah,
I will just put this up on the screen. I put the link in the chat as well. The fundraising link is live. You should be able to see it on the screen now. Obviously, we've got the 250 as the target. And obviously for the National Autistic Society, like I say, big thanks to Johnny for putting the link together and giving some background information on the why we do the charity match. It's not just about the trophy and the game, which is always, like you said, competitive and done in good spirits, but as well, there is a charity and there's a reason behind why we do it. And it's a fantastic cause. As Johnny said, there'll be more information coming up about that. So the link's in the chat. Please give as much as you possibly can. Every little helps to ensure we can raise as much money as possible. Let's get us to that 250 target.
Yeah, that would be greatly appreciated. Like I said, just finally for me, just for all the Newcastle fans watching, listening right now, I'm so happy because it was such a good day on Sunday. We all deserve it. It's absolutely it's been so long. I'm the youngest one on this panel by a considerable distance, aren't I? So use four suffered a lot more. But just buzzing for everybody. But yeah, the link is there if you can. Anything little would be greatly appreciated. It's only just gone live a couple of hours ago, so hopefully we'll get a couple of donations early doors, and then we can just keep going from there. But yeah, buzzing. What a couple of days, boys! What a couple of days. Let somebody else have a turn and talk about it.
Top man.
Nice and Johnny.
We'll be doing some shows anyway, so we'll be in touch. But take care, mate, and we'll.
All the best, boys. See you later.
Legend.
Take care, mate.
Take care, Johnny.
From me,
Sir.
just before we let you go, obviously from your perspective, with regards to the cup final, we asked Jimmy the question earlier. Do you think it's going to spur Newcastle United on to get Champions League football, or do you think it could have an impact on us? You know, the honeymoon period afterwards, and maybe it's taken it out of us how much we gave to win that final. How do you see it, mate? With so many games coming up that are winnable as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think it's definitely going to spur the players on. This isn't like Wigan winning the Carabao Cup and then being happy to just get relegated. This is not that Newcastle. We have targets to hit. The owners are not like, yeah, just take the holidays now. Top four's available. Eddie Howe wants to be a top manager. These guys say they want to play in the Champions League, and this is how they're going to stay at the club. Well, this is the opportunity to show it. So you take the club's success and you have to build on that. We have to learn this is how you build on stuff. You see, Liverpool lost the entire 2 trophies in one week. Do you know what I mean? And they've been building that for years. So we have to get into that mindset of this is just one stepping stone to other things and learn from that. We learned from it from 2 years ago in the final. So I have no worries about those players. Look at Callum Wilson. You know, he looks like he's getting back to his, abilities again. So he's going to want to start playing. Anthony Gordon must be licking his chops to get back into that team because he hasn't played in 3 games now. So you saw Joe Linton, he's back. Bruno. So yeah, I'm really confident. Trippier's looking amazing. From what I saw against Liverpool, I don't see a team that's gonna now take their foot off the pedal and think they've won anything. No, I think they're gonna go for more.
Definitely. Bumby, one last very quick one just before you go. Do you bring Anthony Gordon back in for Brentford or not, or just stick with Harvey Barnes?
Is he back for Brentford?
Leicester. He's back for Leicester.
Oh, is it Leicester? Sorry, is it? Oh, right. Okay, would you bring him back for Leicester?
Brentford's his last game suspension.
Yeah. Right. Anthony Gordon against that Liverpool team, they would have cried. They would have cried. Kwanzaa would have got a yellow or a red at some point because he would have worked his monkey ass off. I love Harvey Barnes. I love what he does. He worked really well in the final. But like you said, man, Gordon, if he's fit, yeah, I want him back in the team. I just want that killer instinct for the rest of the season. Harvey Barnes has a role to play, but yeah, bring Gordon back.
Just isn't it a similar situation to Pope? You know, Pope,
bro.
Like Dubravka was brilliant during that run, but all of a sudden Pope was straight back in. It's like,
remember, I told you
with your number one. But
remember, I told you he was gonna pick Pope because Pope is his guy, and I'm so glad he did. Because when he picked him, I saw the comments on Instagram. Oh my god, you think he picked what's it called, Gillespie? You think he picked Lloris again? Like people were losing their shit, and I was just like, I said to my boy, I said, Pope's gonna have a blinder today. Watch, and he looked like the old Pope. Like he was on it. He understood the assignment, and the reason why it worked was because I told you, it wasn't football that was going to beat Liverpool. It was desire, it was passion, it was heart. We're no passing out at the back, getting your left wingers to do kick-ups before they do a kicking pass. It was getting bare faces and let's keep it moving. And that's what Pope did. He kept it moving, we got in their faces. And he made key saves, So I knew Eddie was going to go with him, but I knew it was going to work because it was going to take a lot for Liverpool to break our desire. And I just didn't have it. When you see Tonali, Bruno in the midfield, they might not come to play football.
Fumbi, how is any game you go to in the future going to live up to that cup final?
Not close. I'm spoiled. Okay, if there's not a trophy at the end of the game, I'm not going anymore. I've seen Isak score every time I've watched Newcastle. I've seen Isak score, and the first time I saw him score was that goal against Chelsea, and it was incredible. But the one against Liverpool in the final. First of all, when you see the game live, you don't see a replay. And because I lost my shit, I turned around. I didn't even know he did the whole pointing thing. I didn't even know he climbed to the fence. I didn't even see it till after the game. So I was just losing my shit. And it happened so fast. I said, there's no way he scored that. There's no way he did that. But yeah, I think the team is in a good place. It's just been the best day of my life in terms of a football match. To see the boys full, it was just amazing, man. Credit to every single player. Fabian Shaw, all of them played a part, man. They were just amazing, man. And it was so nice to see, the likes of Longstaff, the likes of, all the players who'd been around like Jacob Murphy. If you had told them they're going to win the Carabao Cup, they'd laughed, man. We were a laughing stock. We weren't a serious team. And we did that, man, against Liverpool too. Because I know people trying to take away from us like it's a third tier trophy. We beat Arsenal and Liverpool to get that trophy. Those are not third tier teams, bro. Those are top teams in Europe. And that's what we did.
Facts. Absolutely facts. Bumby, we'll leave it there because we've got a few waiting in the back, but I'm so glad you were there to experience it. And it's
thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it all the time, man. Big up to you, man.
You'll be back, man. We'll be in touch.
Time,
We'll be back soon. Top man.
All right, then. Take care, lads.
Yes, one week.
Take care,
Take
bro.
care, Bye-bye.
Quality.
Where do we go next?
Yeah, I have no idea. But yeah, we've got a couple that have been waiting a while in the chat. So I think should we do them together? Should we get Lee and Adam on?
Let's do it. Welcome back, Adam.
Hello, lads. Hope everyone's doing all right.
Harriet, how you doing?
Yeah. You know what,
lads?
boys? We're lucky because we've got a couple of other boys that were in the Newcastle end during the final, and we're just. It was really, really good to hear the stories of Fumby and Johnny. Just relive some of the emotions of the game on Sunday. Boys, just talk to us about your feelings during the atmosphere, during the goals, the celebrations at the end, and just how you're feeling now. You know, history, boys. 70 years without a domestic trophy. We've done it. Just talk to us of some of those emotions that you've been going through.
Go on, Adam.
Well, I feel like it's quite surreal. I think it's the obvious point to make, of course. Myself and Lee, ironically, you got two content creators on that have been, of course, covering Newcastle for probably around the 10-year mark now. So it kind of, not only as a fan to kind of go through it all, but in a content sense as well, to kind of just go through everything. It's just, you can never imagine it, could you? Honestly, you can never imagine it. So when you see Newcastle, I was confident on the day, but I was never expecting for Newcastle to actually play that well against Liverpool. I mean, honestly, we could have probably won 3 or 4-0, to be honest. At one stage, it was such a, I feel like 2-1 was such a flat win scoreline for Liverpool because they were rubbish. Newcastle were just so much better than them, and coming out of that game, of course, having our scars, just witnessing that at Wembley, you can never imagine that in a million years. It's just seeing that. We shall Lee will tell you all about it as well, but it's just incredible. I mean, seriously incredible.
Yeah, it wasn't incredible. Do you know what it is? I wasn't that confident. My head was saying that we'll win it, but my heart was saying I'm expecting another defeat. So I wasn't as much. Don't get me wrong, you should believe in your team, but our record at Wembley and our record against Liverpool, especially when it's not in St James's Park, is absolutely pitiful. So I was like, do you know what? I'm prepared this time around because I kept thinking myself, do you know what it is? It'll hurt more if we got beat off Liverpool against Man United. I think it'll hurt the first time more because that was like, we were just happy to be there more or less, competing, just turning up. But this time I was more prepared. It was more chilled. I thought, do you know, if we got beat the day, yeah, it'll hurt, but I don't think it'll hurt as Man United. But as Adam says, it looked like we were the team that were top of the league running away with it. It was shock to me. It was like, where the hell has that come from? Considering the form the last 10 games has been very much indifferent. The performances, some have been great, some have been awful. We've been beaten, which it's St James's Park, which we shouldn't really, to like Fulham and Brighton, let's be honest. But it's, like I say, I think both of us went tears. That just goes to show you we've been up and down the country. We put a lot of money into what we love doing, which is Newcastle United. We've all got the same goal, which is to say Newcastle United lift a trophy. And we did it. We fucking did it.
Yes.
Get in there. Oh, I don't even know where to go to next.
I'll go to a question for Adam. So
on,
Liverpool seem to be planning for penalties from your video, Adam.
Yes.
All their details.
Yeah, well, for some reason, Liverpool left the penalty tactics in the dressing room, but that was probably the weird part, to be honest. I don't know why they were going for the penalty tactics in the first place, because Liverpool were just so bad on the pitch. I can't believe they were thinking about extra time and penalties. We're not seeing the way they were in that first half. I'm assuming they've probably done that before the game, but again, it was quite a weird tactic kind of pinpoint on, because Liverpool were too busy focusing about extra time and penalties, but they were rubbish across the 90 minutes. But yeah, it was hilarious seeing that in the stadium too our next day. just left up on the wall. Isak, Shaw, Bruno, and Jordan was the 4 penalty takers as a target, and had like the details in every single one, and it just told the goalkeeper to wait. Like the keeper would do that anyway. So yeah, it was a bit of a weird tactic to see from Liverpool. But again, kind of just going into Wembley the next day, it was just so weird, really, because you can see all the Newcastle fans kind of coming on the stadium so early in the morning. You have a tour of 50 Newcastle fans just coming in to check the place out. And obviously, speaking about that next morning as well, I know Lee is probably sick to death of hearing about this now, but I couldn't believe Paul scores, by the way. I was livid when I seen that. Seriously, I was livid about that. I know Lee probably doesn't want to talk about it, but again, I mean, obviously, Lee, for example, he's travelled up to Manchester the next morning. He's obviously Newcastle's won their first domestic major honour in 70 years, and you have the likes of Paul scores and then fans and obviously Sky Sports is like talking down the final. I thought it was horrible, to be honest. I was really livid when I seen that. But again, all of us who put so much effort into support Newcastle, we've seen the dark days, we've seen the good days, but we've never seen anything like that. And yeah, I probably shouldn't have went off on a little tangent there, but again, I was livid when I seen that. I wasn't pleased.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest way to end the weekend. Like, I mean, as I say, I was absolutely mortal. Anybody bumped into me Saturday night, I must have had about 14 drinks. And I'm not a big drinker. The last time I drunk big was probably Dortmund away. And I don't really go out nowadays. I'm getting old. I'm in my late 30s now. Do you know what I mean? And I was absolutely smashed in Covent Garden, man. I did a video on Wembley away, crying my eyes out. Oh, we're gonna win. Oh, I fucking love this club. And I thought, good job that didn't get out. It's a very good job that didn't get out. But then the next day I was just hungover. Match day, I was like, I need to shake this hangover. And I probably did about 5 o'clock, roughly about half an hour into the game. And I got into the mood of things. And then obviously the cup celebrations, I think we were in there for a good hour and a half or so after the game. And it was more like, what happens now then? Do we go party somewhere or do we hang about? And I was like, I was absolutely emotionally drained. Just probably the hangover and the whole day itself. I thought, as a content creator, and probably Adam has to relate to this, is like you're thinking about your head, shit, I've got content to make. Shit, do I enjoy myself? Do you park at one side for a moment and enjoy yourself? So I enjoyed myself, but I went home, I say home, my hotel, which was next door to Wembley, and got the videos out. And as I say, I had 3 hours sleep and drove up to Manchester. I left Wembley at 7 o'clock. I thought, right, we got in the overlap. I'm going to give it large. Went in, don't you know, pump it up. It wasn't on like film or anything, but then the way I was like talked down, I was actually shocked by it. I was like, because you quite clearly hear me say, I was getting to my point then. I would literally said, should I ask you to then? I went, does Eddie Howe deserve a statue? And I went, not now. And next thing I know, Scholes is laughing at us. I've got my cola button in about Man United, and they didn't let me finish that point off. So my point was going to be, should he deserve a statue? Because if you look at like the whole history of Newcastle, the euphoria, when Eddie Howe leaves, and I'll believe this, Eddie Howe will get that statue when time has gone past. It could be 10 years from now or whatever it is. I think he will be. Unless you might talk about Joe Harvey should have more and Keegan should have more. But that was the point I was getting to, but I was just interrupted. And then it was clipped up on the socials to make it look like more. Well, it clicks in it, let's be honest. And I get that. But that was a bit disappointing. But that's not going to ruin my weekend. And I know it's made headlines in the Mirror and the Mail or whatever, but I still love the weekend. It was a memory that I would cherish. We won a trophy, and that's all. That's why we've been doing these videos for years and years.
Yeah, 100%. Never let anything like that ruin what you experienced the day before, because that's something that you'll cherish forever. Whether we win multiple trophies moving forward or not, that moment there you'll never ever forget. So no one can ever take that away from any of us. Certainly you boys, you were in the ground to experience it. That's for sure. But yeah. So look, fair play to you, Lee, because you didn't have to speak about it. Obviously, Adam's touched on it, and I agree. I think it was ridiculous, and it's for me it just sums up some opposition fans and some fans that are just completely out of touch with football. And don't understand.
What happens if I don't know? I'll give you another club. Everton and Villa haven't won anything since the mid-90s. If they win, it's going to mean everything to them. Because a lot of their generation, if you're under the age of 50, probably can't remember going all the way back unless you've got a great memory when you're a young teen and stuff. But if they win the trophy, it means everything to them. Because a lot of Evertonians, if they're under their age of 50, you're struggling to remember 94, 95.
We discussed it on our panel show. It was a Tuesday or whatever, and with exactly the way you described it there, the bit at the end. That's exactly how we described it, and the panel of other football fans, they all agreed. They said the same thing, because of the what it meant, and it was so long since we actually won something. So it makes sense.
Definitely. So what next, boys? What next for Newcastle United? We've got the trophy in the cabinet. Obviously, we're going to be celebrating the parade and everything that's going to be coming out. But how do you see the rest of the season panning out, boys?
Do you know what? Before the final, I couldn't care less how long we got that trophy. I really did. Just think, just get that trophy. We could lose every single game. Not that I wouldn't care. Of course, I would care. But the main priority for Newcastle and all the fans is to get a trophy, and we've finally done it. And then I think, but now obviously it's reflecting back, and I've looked back at it and think, do you know what? We've still got a lot to play for. We're still getting the Champions League. We can still get in Europa League. You didn't want to go away to Blimmin Estonia on a Thursday night in the Blimmin Conference League, do you? Let's be honest. I mean, I don't be there. We'll be there. It's after o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, getting flights to Estonia. I didn't want to be doing that. I want to get a short trip to Holland or whatever. But yeah, there's Champions League and there's the Europa League, and I think the big stars will stay at Newcastle now that we've actually delivered, regardless if we get Champions League or not now.
You feel the same, Adam?
Yeah. We were going to say something that I do agree with the sense that our big players are going to stay. I don't see anyone leaving. In terms of Newcastle's season, again, as Lee's touched on there, just getting hopefully a better form of European football. Of course, we guaranteed at least the playoffs in the Conference League next season, but there's no reason why, especially when you look at the fixtures as well. Newcastle have got a kick on now. Have a week or so celebrating. We'll have a great time next week, but once we're done with that, Brentford on the Wednesday night, let's get back into the flow of things, and then over the next 10 games or so, Newcastle have got a legitimate possibility of getting Champions League football. It will be a push. As much as I don't want them to drop out, I think, again, the likes of Nottingham Forest will probably need, hopefully, them to drop off a little bit, because, again, a team like Man City, I probably would expect them to get top 5. But there's no reason with the fixtures Newcastle have next and hopefully how well we're going to play after that cup final. There's no reason why Newcastle can't get Champions League football. I think we can push for it. I think we should push for it. And worst case scenario, even if I wouldn't even say worst case scenario, to be honest, but I would still take Europa League. I think that's still quite a good thing to go into next season. Again, it's more realistic for us to get further in, and it's a good competition to play in. So yeah, it's massive for us to try and get a good form of European football, better on the summer to attract better players, and it's just a great way to finish off what has been. I mean, might not have said a couple of weeks ago, but what has been now an incredible season for Newcastle. We've done it, we've got past it, and it's looking ahead now and just getting this season, getting this chapter closed, and then we can look ahead of next season. But it's not about, I guess, the Carabao Cup now, have a couple weeks celebration, but it's about what is next. What can Newcastle go for next? Because once you win one under Eddie Howe, I think this is a manager that could win more at Newcastle. I think we need to have that mentality now where we can potentially go out next season and win more trophies. So I'm backing us all the way, but that was the huge one. We've got it done, and that is historic.
So, as well as traveling all around Europe and next season, are you going to head towards Asia for the preseason?
Oh yeah.
Well, save me asking in April when they're over.
Yeah, well, Craig Hope claimed it'd be Hong Kong, wouldn't it? So yeah, I can't say I've ever been to Hong Kong before, to be honest. But of course, myself and Lee will be back there again. I had an amazing time in Japan last summer. I love being in Asia. So again, if it's Asia, I would not be complaining whatsoever about that.
Can I ask Chris a question?
Yeah, sure.
Obviously, with your accent, that must be a bit interesting in Liverpool the last few days, hasn't it? Have you had a bit of stick?
Do you know what? Weirdly, Johnny was on earlier when Johnny asked me something similar. Do you know what, mate?
I must just think like it was too then.
Do you know what? I've been surprised by how gracious Liverpool fans have been. I mean, obviously in the build up to the game, they were like, "Oh, you're going to get smashed. We're going to turn you over. We've been knocked out by PSG. We're definitely going to come for you," and all that. And after the game, I was surprised by how humble and, as I say, gracious that the Liverpool fans were, and they were almost saying to me, well done, you broke your duck, enjoy it, you deserve it. Very, 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 very nicely. I mean, I think it will change things because now, we're not little old Newcastle or unlucky Newcastle who never win anything anymore. I think it'll be game face on next season. and I think they'll want to get a little bit of revenge on us. Because obviously we'll be shouting from the rooftops after what we've done this season, and stopping that quadruple, which was getting spoken about a hell of a lot earlier on in the season. But yeah, I think as you boys have said as well, it was the manner of how we won as well. It wasn't like one of those smash and grabs 1-0 like they did in Paris. It was very much we deserved it. And it almost felt like we arrived. And, a lot of Liverpool fans I know, Lee, have been very critical over Eddie Howe and saying to me, you need rid of Eddie Howe, you need a top-class manager. And they saw firsthand what Eddie Howe's capable of and what this Newcastle United team are capable of. And I think if we qualify for Champions League football, I think that rivalry is going to get even more intense. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by how Liverpool fans reacted, or certainly the majority I know. They were very nice to me and said, enjoy it, you deserve it, and yeah.
For me, I think that's the best performance under Eddie Howe this season in total. Sorry, I think that beat PSG.
Superb.
I think that was just because you look at the occasion, you look at the caliber, the opposition. We just, do you know what it is? It was control. That's what it was. We just controlled the game, and that's his best performance by quite a distance. People might talk about the memories of PSG, which was fantastic, but for me, that is a standout, clear winner.
100%.
Can't argue, mate.
Boys, we'll leave it there. But look, we will be seeing both of you in April for the charity game, and Johnny just announced the charity game. Again. As well, let's see about that. Let's see about that.
Get your ringers in. Go on, get your ringers in. Get them all in again.
The link is there, and in addition to that, Johnny has just said the first £30 donation has already gone in. It's only been live for a couple of hours, so massive thanks to those that have put the donation in, whoever it was. But people are donating already, and he just wanted to make it clear. So, look, we'll be Adam, Lee, we'll be seeing you in Newcastle on April 12th. Can't wait to meet up with you, hopefully win the trophy, but certainly having a few beers and then 3 points against Man United on the Sunday. So that'd be nice. Boys, we'll leave it there. We'll let you guys go. Thank you for coming on.
Cheers, boys.
See you soon.
Take care, lads.
Great stuff. Great to have the boys on, as ever. And we've got another guest ready and waiting. We might have one or two more before the show is done.
Yes, because there's people pinging us left, right, and centre wanting to jump on as well. By the way, but I don't know how we're going to get everyone on. But let's see. Our guest was there waiting patiently. Oh, he's ready. He's ready. No. This man, he didn't know whether he's going to be able to make it. This is a debut on Loaded. So the GOAT has arrived. Welcome. You're on mute.
Evening, guys. You all right?
Evening, mate.
Nice one. Welcome, GOAT.
Welcome.
Finally. It's been a bit of a dash. Literally, when I've been messaging you, I was at City Airport in London. I've landed in Amsterdam. I'm back home. I'm ready to go.
Good man.
Nice one.
Great choice of shirt, by the way. Great choice of shirt.
Yes.
Love that.
Absolutely. Legendary shirt.
Yeah. Talk to us. How you feeling now that the trophy has been confirmed? The trophy's in the cabinet. 70 years. We've been asking everyone that's come on tonight the similar question. What was your reaction? What were your kind of overriding emotions when that final whistle went? And how you feeling now? Now you've had a few days to kind of soak it all in a little bit.
Well, I mean, if I'm honest, I think probably one of my greatest moments supporting Newcastle was when that Dan Burn goal went in. Watching that header going in slow motion, Trippier pinging the ball in. The ball had a little bit of swaz. And then Dan Burn just heading it, and the angle where I was opposite the TV side, and I got the perfect angle. I watched it just curl in. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Everyone went crazy. I was in disbelief. I looked at my friend, Oh, he wasn't there. He went away. He went to go and get the pints. So thank God I never followed him. I had to see everything with my own 2 eyes. But yeah, going to that final, I felt like I had the golden ticket. Yeah, just an amazing experience. To see that not Trippier, but the Isak goal, the disallowed goal. I thought the second goal, I thought, yes, that was it, but it was disallowed. And then literally maybe a minute or 2 later, Isak, first time, like every world-class striker, no more than maybe 1 or 2 touches, strikes the ball, puts it in the back of the net, and then that's it. The whole fan base just absolutely erupted. Euphoric moment.
Not a lot of people are talking about it. It ain't an easy finish.
It's not an
Hit
easy
it
finish.
the way he did. Only your top level players can finish the ball like that, and Kelleher had no chance. You look at it from behind Isak striking the ball. He's got no chance of getting anywhere near that. It was an absolute world-class finish that I just don't think has been talked about enough.
Absolutely. And I think you'll notice with Isak, just a general observation, when he shoots or when he tends to shoot, he always shoots across the keeper. So he always shoots across. So that was a perfect finish for him. Murphy dropping it and knocking it down for him. And then Isak just swept it away. And normally, like I said, 1 or 2 touches, if Isak's got the chance, he takes it away. Yes, I know we've seen him trying to do round the keeper, like where he's got it wrong against a few teams. But this time, yeah, he was clinical. No mistakes there. But an interesting point is I saw something on Twitter where is it Mark Goldbridge said that Keller, if Alisson was in goal, that Alisson would have saved the header. There's no chance. There's no chance that header would have been saved. That ball was headed right into the opposite corner. There's various people in the trajectory of the ball. And obviously, as a goalkeeper, you're waiting to see if somebody touches it or if they don't. But that ball just flew straight in.
Yeah, absolutely. You actually see where the header lands. It lands on the the side netting, like just inside the post. Like there was no keeper's getting that. No keeper is saving that at all. I think you're absolutely spot on with that. But look, you're always going to get some people that are not Newcastle United fans that are going to find a way of shitting on our moment and finding some way of belittling it. We just talked with Lee Lawler, and I know you were listening in sort of in the green room with regard to that situation with Paul Scholes. So we know that opposition fans and people related to other clubs aren't going to talk about us in a positive way and a way of bringing us down. But I bet Goldbridge, I don't know for sure, but I bet he was celebrating when we were beating Liverpool. And then when he realizes that actually we're going to be winning more trophies than them this season, he's kind of gone, oh, maybe I need to try and put them back in the box a little bit. But
yeah, I think on that point as well, a lot of people will have something to say about Newcastle, what we've done, the expectations they have for us in terms of what we should achieve since we've been taken over. Listen, I'm not saying that we're Manchester City, but we're not Manchester City. But it took roughly circa 3 years for Manchester City to get their first trophy, and then that was a catalyst for bigger things. So I think for us, this is a landmark moment, it's a momentous moment. We've got the trophy. That now silence all that banter with all the other rival fans. Yeah. You're beating Arsenal, but you better win it. Or what have you won? What have you won? Well, we've done it now. But it's just a start. It's just a start. But on that note as well, again, it's great we've won the trophy. It's a bit of a contentious point here. For me, if we're doing I think we should save the trophy parade till the end of the season, because we've got to get back to business. We've got to refocus our minds, and we've got to get back to that, getting the 3 points against Brentford and start our Champions League charge, because we really, really need to make sure that we finish at least in the top 5. But I think we can finish top 4. Put together 4 back-to-back, not 4 back-to-back wins. We put together at least 4 solid wins, and we're going to be in a really solid position. We'll shoot out that table.
Where do you think
we found someone more positive? We found someone more positive than Pete. I didn't think it would happen. We have. So I was going to ask you, Gord. I think you're London-based. Are you sick of people talking about trying to sell Isak on us?
Well, I mean, listen, it's what sells papers, it's what gets clicks, what gets views. Ultimately, you got to think, when we normally hear about Isak moving, is when Arsenal season falls apart. So normally, if you roll back a year, back to February, March, when they go out the Champions League, when they go out the league, the next minute, Isak's on Arteta's shopping list. Or it's gone wrong for Liverpool. They go out the cup, all of a sudden, Liverpool have had discussions with Alexander Isak. I think from Newcastle's position, we're protected. Ultimately, like, it hurts me to say this. If he goes, he goes. But the one thing is for sure is he's got at least over 3 years left in his contract. So it's going to be a big fee.
Yeah.
We're not a club that's owned by Mike Ashley, where, for example, if a team comes in and tries to buy our player, they're going to get him on the cheap. If it's Newcastle now under Saudi ownership, although it hasn't really been tested, maybe for the lower players, we've let like Maxi go for cheap, we've let Almiron go, but that's obviously just due to we've let Almiron go for on a slightly lower fee. But ultimately, if somebody comes in for Isak, you're going to have to pay some serious money. And I don't think anyone's got the money to pay. However, the only thing that's given me a little bit of a worry is this World Club Cup in the summer, where the team could win up to 100 million in prize money. So that is going to turbocharge other clubs' kind of financial position and boost the transfer kitty if they go far in the competition. So I think City are in it, Chelsea are in it. Just got to keep an eye and hope they don't go too far. But that's going to be the only way. Well, I don't think he's going to go to Chelsea, but I don't think he'll go to City either. But ultimately, these are the type of clubs, Barcelona as well, that if they get that 100 million, then they could make Newcastle an offer they can't refuse. But it's going to be expensive anyway. But yes, to answer your question, I'm tired of hearing of Isak being linked to other clubs. But we've won the trophy, so that gives us some comfort. And I think he stays at least for another season. There are other players in that squad that could be sold before we sell Isak, and it'd be stupid to sell your best player. Like, why would you do that?
I've got a couple of questions for you guys. So while we're on the subject of Isak, what do you think the minimum fee is that Newcastle would expect to receive? Or, you know, if you were on the board, what would you say is the bottom line, just out of interest? We're not suggesting Isak's going to be sold before anyone jumps on my case, but just on the off chance it happens. And also, where do you think Newcastle will finish this season? Where do you think we'll ultimately finish?
So fee, it could be in and around 150. It could be just under, it could be just over. 10 million variance either way. Where will we finish? We're looking at Chelsea's last 5 games or last 3 games. They've got people in and around them. So hopefully they drop off. Forest, if we win our game in hand, we could finish anywhere between 4th and 5th. There's a lot of football to play. There's going to be a lot of movement. We're going to know where we are effectively in the next 4 weeks, because April is going to be pivotal for us. I just hope that Arsenal don't get payback on us like we did maybe 3 years ago in their all or nothing season, where we stopped them from qualifying for the Champions League. They get payback on us, beat us and stop us from qualifying for the Champions League. But I think ultimately, 4th or absolute worst case scenario, 5th. I just hope that we retain our focus. We don't let the cup win distract us, and we do all the business. What about yourself? Guys?
I think 5th myself. I said 5th at the start of the season. So I'd be gladly take that, because that will get us Champions League. And what a season that's been then.
Yeah. Pete?
Go on, Pete.
We both said that at the same time.
Yeah. You're like, go on.
For me, I think we get Champions League. And to be honest, I don't care whether it's 4th, 3rd, or 5th. I think we get Champions League. I think we're just going to let the good times roll. I think it was Martin in the chat put it earlier, actually, when he was in. I think of our last 10 games, I think we have 6 at home.
Yeah.
Home form. Great feeling, everyone buzzing now. Great atmosphere, hopefully, for all of those games. Could well be the difference. For me, I think if we win those 6 home games, I think that's enough. I think that's enough to get Champions League football. That's not to say that we lose the other 4 away. I just think that we'll pick up enough points away from home if we secure all of them. And let's not forget the home games. We'll play Chelsea within that at St James's Park. We beat them. We're taking 3 additional points off them. Chelsea got to go to Forest last game of the season. Chelsea got some tough games to play. And for me, I think Chelsea could be the ones that drop out in order for us to get fifth spot. So yeah, I'm confident. I'm confident now. Why wouldn't we be? But what about you, Chris?
I think I said, was it last week or the week before, when we were going around saying where we thought we'd finish? I think I said 4th. I'm going to stick with 4th. I think we're more than capable. I'll be honest, I had aspirations of catching Forest, and now I'm not so sure. I did actually say originally I thought City would finish 3rd, but now I'm starting to wonder whether Forest will hang on for 3rd. But now I'm still going to maintain we get 4th, but I'll take what Goat said. As long as we get 4th or 5th, I'm happy. Either or will do me. And interestingly, and I hadn't really thought about that, Goat, in terms of the trophy parade on the 29th of March. I wonder whether the club have strategically chosen that date, given that, they're hoping it will give us that extra boost, that extra push over the line. I don't know. But like you, I think I would probably have preferred to do it at the end of the season, but maybe they're hoping it galvanizes everyone and it just gives that feel-good feeling, or that, that reason for the players to give that little bit extra, and hopefully, the fans will all be screaming, go and get us Champions League football. And hopefully that's what it does.
Absolutely. Guys, I just wanted to go back to the final. I had a few points to make, because this is my moment. But Nick Pope, I know there's a big debate about Dubravka and Nick Pope, but Nick Pope was immense. Grabbing all the long balls, picking the balls, plucking the ball out of the air, getting a big fist on it. That is exactly what I need. Coming out early, that's exactly what I wanted. In many scenarios during that game, I'm seeing the ball come over the top. I'm looking, I'm thinking, where's the goalkeeper? There's Nick Pope just there. And many a time, listen, Dubravka's been great when he came in earlier on in the season, but he's always glued to his line and doesn't command his box as well as Nick Pope. And in that final, that's exactly what we needed. Exactly what we needed.
Agree.
Played very well. Very well.
Absolutely. That was a Nick Pope of 2 years ago.
Yeah,
we haven't seen Nick Pope play like that since he did his shoulder against Man United, and hopefully that gives we talked about spurring on the team, because you mentioned it about the parade. I hope a performance like that in a cup final where he's lifted a trophy, hopefully that spurs him on now with the confidence to go, you know what, I'm back. I think sometimes a player needs that moment to really kick him on, and I hope that's the case. Look, we'll still, I think we still need a new goalkeeper in the summer, and I still think we will get one. But if that can spur him on to have big moments between now and the end of the season, take that all day long.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think he was rusty in his last game, but then this game it looked like he was a little bit more up to speed.
Yeah.
So he filled me with a lot of confidence. But the game before, it didn't fill me with a lot of confidence, and in fact, it kind of showed that gap between Dubravka and Pope has actually closed a little bit. But still, big game. You want Nick Pope there. I reckon even if we had him against Man United 2 years ago, I'm sure that we probably would have won that final. Well, it would have been a closer game.
Good. If you have to sell one or both, what are you doing?
It's time for Dubravka to go. He's the older keeper. He's been a legend for us. Listen, I remember when he made his debut for us against Man United, and he was unstoppable. He was immense. He was everything you wanted him to be. But unfortunately, his time's gone. I think his time went when he went to Man United on loan. But listen, last season he was slipping when the ball's been passed back to him. Yeah, people that know me know I've never quite forgiven him for that. But listen, when he came in this season, he did a good job, and he was a big contributing factor to our unbeaten run. But ultimately, it's time for Dubravka to go. Keep Nick Pope. Nick Pope would be a good person for Trafford if we get him to learn from. I think that's what we do. Keep Pope. If we're lucky, we sign Trafford, and then Trafford can learn from Pope, and then you slowly integrate Trafford into the team, Eddie Howe style.
Go. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you.
Absolutely.
What a debut.
What a debut! Yeah,
Great debut.
in the wing, but great to have you on. And look, if we're doing this again, it would be a pleasure to have you back on, fella.
Absolutely. Before I go, then, can I just say shout out to the London Mags, shout out to Joe, shout out to the Dutch Mags as well, and also you guys. You're doing an amazing job. I've been watching you from day one. Yeah, I love the content that you produce. It's informed. It's not over emotionally. It's not literally going to extremes. It's spot on. So keep up the good works.
thanks so much, mate.
Cheers, God.
Thank
All right,
you.
take care,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Cheers.
You
Bye.
take care.
Nice one, mate.
Take care,
See you later.
fella.
Bye.
Speak to you soon.
What a debut! What a debut!
Yeah, brilliant.
He's done that before.
Brilliant.
He has,
With
hasn't he?
no
He has.
nerves. No nerves.
He has.
It's fair play.
Yeah. Top man.
And then there were two. And then there were two. We've got some special guests to come in here. Boys we've not had on for a while, but we'll get them on together because it feels like a special occasion to have these boys back on.
There's only one way we can bring out this man first. There's only one way. Let's do this. And then he appears. Oh, sorry, wrong man. And then he appears.
He's back. He's back.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Yeah, absolute
Good to see
pleasure
you,
to have you back, my man. So glad that you saw the message. Yeah, I don't think we could have done a show like this without you on, and not just yourself. I don't think we could have done this without our other guest that's already made it 1 second.
Do it.
It wasn't on purpose, I promise. Welcome, Jordan, as well.
Yes, George.
Hey, lads, I can't believe you've done that. I give up my free time now to come and see you guys, and you've done that to me. That's shocking.
You should have known what we're like. It's your own fault, Jordan.
Oh my God, boys! So happy to see you both. It's been a while, been a long while since you've been on the channel. So thank you for coming and joining us. But just look, we just want to get as many. Oh, what's happened there? Oh yeah, they're back. Jordan will think we're taking it out on him, taking him off the twice. But look, this has been an absolutely historic week for all of us, Newcastle United fans. Yourself, Jordan, of course, because you reported on it, you were there and experienced it. You've written about it, done content about it on Geordie Journal since. Just to sum it up to us, how amazing this feat was by bringing that trophy home on Sunday night, mate. Just talk to us about your feelings, emotions. Were there tears shed?
Yeah, no, there was, which in a press box isn't always ideal because you want to be Mr. Professional. But look, I've never hid my colours. I've been a fan longer than I've been a journalist, and 27. Although it's not as long as probably other people have waited for Newcastle win a trophy, it feels like other years. So when Newcastle, when the game was won at the end and the players ran towards the fans, the sea of black and white, what a scene that was. Those black and white scarves was something else. It was a beautiful sight. But it was just a release of emotion. I think I just fell in line with every other supporter. Every supporter in that ground had their own story. One thing that really got me emotionally was a couple of months back, my granddad passed away. So he never got the opportunity to see that. I think he was obviously seeing Newcastle win the Fairs Cup, but that's where my emotions went initially to thinking of him in that moment. And tears were shed, and then to see Newcastle lift that trophy after so long, because look, we live in the city you guys support it. It's not just about the players, Eddie Howe, because what they've done is outstanding, but it's about the city, the supporters, and everyone deserves it. Everyone here deserves it. Everyone in the chat deserves it. Everyone associated with Newcastle United deserves it. And yeah, it's not ideal to say in that moment you want to be professional, and I was. I still got on my job, but I'm not. I'd be lying if I said I didn't get taken away emotionally with it. So yeah, just a beautiful evening. And I always believed the trophy drought would come to an end at some point. I didn't think it was going to be on Sunday, if I'm being brutally honest. But it was, and it was beautiful. And look, it changes everything moving forward. And yeah, hopefully that's the start of many, many more trophies to come.
We talked about sort of a sea of calm. Johnny talked about it. Fumby talked about it. Lee mentioned it as well. Like all the lads that have come on previously that were at the game on Sunday, they talked about like a sense of calm around the fan base, around the sort of the Newcastle end of the stadium. Did you feel that as well in the press box? Did you get a feeling of calm, and that it was about getting the job done rather than nervousness or sort of a lack of expectation?
Yeah, no, I think it felt different. We went to Covent Garden on the Saturday night, and there was a different feel about it. Obviously, I think a couple of years ago, I think it'd probably be the same for me. It felt like it would have a day out for everyone because it was so long since Newcastle got to the final. I think it was 24 years or something at the time when they got the League Cup final last time. So yeah, going to Covent Garden, it was a different feel. And then I think the preparation, Eddie Howe's preparation was, he got everything absolutely spot on. On the Saturday night, Newcastle stayed outside of London. James Bay had done a private event for the players. Eddie Howe then done a speech to the players and referenced the war flags getting to them. And I spoke to someone who was actually present in the room. He said it was extremely moving. So there was, I think, even with the players, when they were walking through into Wembley, and I was down next to the mix zone, and you could see on the faces there was determination, there was a focus to get the job done. And then even when Bruno comes out for the warm up, it's very little things, but the way Bruno ran out, it was with pure intent. On his face, you could see it. And yeah, look what unfolded. Newcastle were from the off went right in the faces of Liverpool. Liverpool were beaten by kickoff because Newcastle wanted it more, and that showed. And look, that's no easy feat because Liverpool are the best team in the country at this moment in time. But Newcastle absolutely wiped the floor with them on Sunday, and not just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well, because I thought everyone inside Wembley was an absolute credit to the club. It was a proper united effort to get that trophy finally over the line.
Definitely. Keith, talk to us, my friend. How did it feel? Seeing those goals go in the back of the net, but in particular when that final whistle went and everything, all our dreams and hopes had been fulfilled in that moment. What was going through your mind, mate?
It's just sort of like I think Jordan just sort of like summed up some of the sort of feelings and emotions there. It was just waves coming over you, and it was just the reality coming home, which it has done over the last few days of we've actually won. After, I'm not going to lie, you wouldn't have wanted to know my prediction beforehand, but on the morning where I woke up, I did dream that it was 3-3 at half time. And I did actually, in the second half, it was 4-3 and Newcastle were winning. Oh. And so even that, it was like a good sort of confident premonition on the day. And again, the sort of massive relief of coming through that really, and disbelief of even the scoreline, looking at the scoreline and what we've done and the journey that we've taken this season, particularly in the League Cup. We've had one of the greatest runs to a League Cup win ever, I think, really, when you look at it. The teams that we've beaten, Forest away in the third round on penalties, not easy, jeopardy there. And Brentford, a Premier League club, and Chelsea as well. And then Arsenal over the two legs. It's been one of the greatest runs, and there was a sense of this could actually be our season when you're turning up and you're going to you're going to the Emirates and you're turning over Arsenal like that. There was a sense of steeliness and confidence, and we're getting closer even to Liverpool earlier in the season and the 3-3 at St. James's. So there's no doubt we're starting to match teams a lot better. But going back to Jordan's point there were so many overriding emotions. Yes, you did think of, I was thinking of my granddad in particular, who seen the cup finals in the 50s, the three, lived in that era, and then the Fairs Cup. He went to some of the games in the Fairs Cup, and I think he stopped going when he stopped going when the club sold Malcolm MacDonald in the 70s in protest. He didn't like the football they were playing under Gordon Lee, but he was an avid radio fan from then on. And right up to his last days, it was always about Newcastle. 10 years this year since he passed. And I was thinking on the other side of that, I was thinking of the next generation, like my nephew, into his football. And even though he lives in Spain, it's all about, he's got his Newcastle kit and he's watching from afar, really. And I'm thinking, God, it's the first time, not only for me, in my lifetime, that I've seen Newcastle win a top honour. It's for my nephew as well, the next generation, the younger generation are seeing, and the impact of that really as well, in Tyneside, certainly for Newcastle fans, but Newcastle fans afar as well, the next generation. So those were all my sort of overriding emotions, and have been over the last couple of days.
It still feels surreal talking about it, Keith, doesn't it? It really does. It feels like, it's like a pinch me moment. And for me personally, like, when the first goal went in, I went bananas, went berserk. But like, I think all the emotion, and I don't know whether, Jordan, I don't know whether you felt like this as well. Like when the second one went in, it was almost like the light bulb moment. It was like, this could be happening. That was the moment, because we've seen in over the years, haven't we? Where you get your hopes built up, and typical Newcastle, or something always happens, or we always throw it away. And as soon as we made it 2-0, it was like, this is really going to happen. This is really our time. This is our moment. Yeah.
I think as well, there's been we've went through a bit of a roller coaster ourselves in the last few weeks, certainly since the Arsenal game, because the form in the league's been a bit patchy. Went out the FA Cup at home to Brighton on, before the penalties and extra time, and you think, God, we're not in great shape here. Gordon in that game as well, getting the suspension. And again, you're sort of getting the naggly doubts before the actual final. But thankfully for me, one of the things that helped me last week was the result away to West Ham on the Monday night, the 1-0 away. It's like, good, we're starting to sort of get centered again and ready for this final. And the game with Liverpool, again, as you've rightly said, been the team of the season. But that game against Atletico Madrid, it's not Atletico Madrid, sorry, PSG. It was like, you're looking at that game and the way it was dragging out, and you're thinking, this could actually be good and really good for Newcastle, being dragged out the longer. And I'm thinking, I hope it goes beyond the extra time, and I hope it does go to the penalties. And it was proven again, Liverpool for the final were shot, really. They hadn't really recovered. They'd lost Trent and they got to the final, and Newcastle battered them and bullied them in the final. I've never seen Newcastle do that in a final, really, or in a big game moment, really. So it was phenomenal.
Jordan,
sorry.
Yeah, which of the Geordie journals was the most emotional?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I would say me and Liam were on par. Dom was the ultimate professional throughout, totally held it together. Whereas, me and Liam,
Harry G,
definitely had tears. At full time. So, but look, it's one of them sort of like you live life for moments, don't you? And it was just one of them where I just got taken away by the emotion, because, as I say, I've followed this football club as a fan. I've now followed it as a journalist, and I get it. I feel it. I feel what all the supporters feel, and it doesn't help as well because the press box is very much in the Newcastle end. So I think maybe subconsciously I thought I was with the Newcastle fans. When they're cheering around you, and maybe in that moment as well, I sort of was led into a false sense of security. But look, it happened. You live in the moment, and if I was to go back the moment, I would do it again, because that's how I felt in that moment. My emotions were pure, as were the 32 other thousand Geordies in that stadium. As I say, it was just a really special day. Everyone has their own stories. Everyone deserves it. It's been a long time coming. I've seen people this week try to berate Newcastle fans for being so excited about the League Cup. They can all get stuffed. They really can. They can get lost. This means everything to us, and yeah, it's been a special few days, and let's milk it for all we can, because this doesn't happen often. As I say, the first time in 56 years, the first time 70 years domestically. These are generations of people who have waited for this. So now it's happened. Let's just bloody enjoy it.
One more thing to ask you, Jordan, just about this whole thing. Eddie Howe got a lot of stick this season, early on in the season, on social media, and I know you've seen it. We've seen it as well. The Eddie Howe outers have been voicing their opinion strong. Where does this put Eddie Howe in relation to past managers at this club? What has this win, this trophy win, and ending the drought done to Eddie Howe as manager of Newcastle United?
Yeah, I was having this conversation with someone today, and I think if you want to base it on a trophy in recent times, he probably surpasses the likes of Sir Bobby Robson and Kevin Keegan. The only thing I would say about Kevin Keegan is he was a massive figure where Newcastle went from the sort of the bottom of the second division to the top of the Premier League, just missed out on the title. What he'd done for Newcastle during the 90s, he totally revolutionised Newcastle. He put Newcastle on the map. They were known as the entertainers. They were everyone's second team at the time. So I don't think you can downplay that. But Eddie Howe has literally won a trophy. He's done what no other man could since Joe Harvey in 1969. And for me, that can't be understated. So I think you probably could put him at the top. But I do think Kevin Keegan, even though he didn't win a trophy, still deserves recognition for what he done for Newcastle at that time. So, no, Eddie Howe, yeah, you're right. He took he's taken stick from fans on social media. Criticism. I don't think it's always been nasty criticism. There was times early on the season before Newcastle went on the nine game winning run. It wasn't particularly pretty. And I think Newcastle's form in the league this season hasn't been that pretty. I don't think it's been a great season, but somehow the sixth in the Premier League, if they win the game in hand, they go up to fourth. They've won a trophy, so you can't argue with that. So look, the football might not have been pretty at times this season, but Eddie Howe has literally delivered a trophy, and for that he is a legend and will be a legend no matter what happens at Newcastle for the rest of his time.
Absolutely, could actually be the best season we've ever experienced as fans. Like, is 5 on the panel right now, and everyone watching. If we can secure Champions League football and win a trophy in the same season, you could argue that's been our greatest season in 30 odd years, maybe more than that. That for all of the up and down form, for Eddie Howe to deliver that. It's
amazing,
mind blowing. Yeah,
it is.
It is actually.
I have a question for Keith.
Go for it.
Is Champions League going to happen, or where do you think we will finish this season? Bring us down there, Keith.
Yeah, I think a lot of it depends on Chelsea's form, really, because Chelsea, if you remember Chelsea with where they were before Christmas, a lot of people were saying that Chelsea could be the main challengers to Liverpool along with Arsenal. But really, they've sort of slipped away. And since Christmas, they've only won 4 games out of 13. They've lost 6 games. They've got some tricky away games as well against Forest, and they've got to come to Newcastle as well. And they've also got some tricky games against an improving Man United as well. So I think it's 5th and 6th at the minute, barring a calamitous drop-off from either of the sides. It's between Chelsea and Newcastle, really. It's a difficult one to call. I think I can certainly see Newcastle winning and finishing 5th. The only thing I would say to that is the away game is a tricky away game. Sorry, the game in hand's a tricky game for Newcastle against Crystal Palace, I believe. And Newcastle against Crystal Palace, they always seem to have tough games against Crystal Palace. They always seem to be a bit of a tricky bogey. I wouldn't say bogey team, but it's always a tight 1-1 or a 1-0 against Crystal Palace. So, but I think Newcastle have got some good fixtures at home, certainly. They're playing Man United at home. They've certainly pushed Man United over the recent seasons at St James's. So, yeah, let's be optimistic here. I looked at the AI supercomputer earlier today, Premier League supercomputer, and that's got Newcastle narrowly finishing 5th as it stands on present form. So let's be optimistic.
Keith says 5th. That's what I heard.
He did. We're going to hold you to that, Keith, because we would take that all day long. But Jordan, just to finish off, and it's been amazing to have you boys on, so thank you for taking the time. We won't keep you too much longer, but just your thoughts on the final sort of 10 games of the season. 6 at home, 4 away. Keith has just touched on a few of those games, particularly at St James's Park. Can we get Champions League football? It looks like the coefficient is pretty much nailed us on England, by that, for 5th place. How do you see it falling down between now and May?
Yeah, I think this cup win could go one or two. Well, it could go 2 ways, couldn't it? It could really galvanise Newcastle to go and finish in the top 5, which, yeah, by looks of you mentioned there, because of coefficient, looks like Newcastle would get Newcastle Champions League. But then it's also they've won a trophy for the first time in so long. And that trophy win on Sunday actually guarantees them a spot in the Europa League, the Europa Conference League next season. So, look, if I'm Eddie Howe and I'm players in that dressing room, I want to make the season proper memorable. And by doing that, would be going on to get Champions League football as well. And there's no reason why they can't do that. I think that the home form hasn't been great of late, but they've got, well, it's been historically strong anyhow. So they've got 6 home games, 4 away. I can't see any reason why they can't go and get the top 5 at least. In their hands. What happened over the weekend? Results went in Newcastle's favour. So as I say, if they win, they go up to 4th. So they're well in the mix. Let's just attack the final 10 games. And look, a cup win in Champions League would be. I don't know when Newcastle had such a good season last. I think obviously based on my lifetime, it will be the best. And I'm trying to go back through the years to when Newcastle have surpassed such achievements, but it will be a long time that they would have a season like that. So I'm sitting on the fence on the top 4. But they can do it. Of course they can.
That's nobody.
Nobody that.
Nobody on the fence.
Jordan, I've got a very quick question for you just before we go. Sorry. Dead quick one, Jordan. Sorry. You're a massive friend of the channel, and me, Pete, and Daz, obviously, have already said we're delighted to have you back on. I just wanted to say, like, the Geordie Journo content, mate, has been absolutely brilliant. Like, I always look forward to your videos. I always watch them, and I love all the pre-press conference, post-press conference, love it all. But I want to see your hoodie, mate.
Right.
You've got your hoodie on.
Yeah.
There he is. Geordie Journo hoodie. I noticed it. I see it on the top. Brilliant.
Yeah. I usually wear around the house. It hasn't been to an Eddie Howe press conference yet. I don't think I'd go that far. It might be a tad unprofessional. But then again, I did cry at the weekend from a press box, so maybe I went over that.
Last game of the season, mate. Last game of the season. Last press conference of the season. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, we might do that. But no, I appreciate that, mate. It's really, really nice to hear that. As I say, we love doing it. I'm so glad that I say me, Dom, and Liam got to witness a trophy win, was able to report on a trophy win, and then you guys as well able to speak about it as well. It still feels quite surreal that we're talking about this. Yeah, I'm saying Newcastle have got the shortest trophy drought in English football. It just it just still doesn't feel real. I don't know when it'll sink in. But no, it's just incredible, because this is what we wait our whole lives for, and for it to finally be here is just an amazing feeling.
I think just from my perspective, to finish off, I think at some point since we've been doing YouTube and all of these shows, when you've been on with us, Jordan, Keith, the same, I think we've all said at some point that we weren't sure if we were going to lift a trophy in our lifetimes. I think we've all said it at some point. It's happened, lads. It's actually happened.
Yeah.
And like you're right in saying about whether it's quite sunk in yet, Jordan. It probably hasn't, because it's such a massive, monumental achievement for us. And I don't know about you boys. I don't want it to go. I don't want this feeling to go. I'm just we're living the dream, boys, and we deserve it, as you've said many a time, Jordan.
I'm looking forward to watching Dan Burn on TV again tomorrow. Every day, Dan Burn on TV.
You know what, lads? It's been an absolute pleasure tonight to have all of our guests on. Massive thanks to every single one of them, all from Jimmy all the way through to the likes of Johnny and Lee, Fumby, Adam that came on earlier, Adam P as well, the GOAT making his appearance, his debut, and then of course you boys. I think it's tipped this off perfectly as a show to have you boys on, because you are very, very special to us as a channel. You've been there from the beginning, Jordan. Fully Loaded Transfer Shows started with you.
Predicted finale, the first one.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
And Keith, of course, all things away days. Your stats are very much missed. We'll have to get you back on to spit those stats again to us very soon. But massive thanks to everyone in the chat. Your comments and people saying lots of positive things in the chat. Keep them coming, but make sure you click the like on the way out. We've had well over 200, more than that over the course of the show. Just click the like on the way out. Massive thanks to you guys for all your support. And I'm just going to say one last time, and Jordan, hopefully you're able to make it for this as well. We have the charity match and the donations already in place. If you might be able to see that. Yeah, I did do a little click and it did update. There has been a donation already of £30. Massive thanks to that individual. But yeah, if you haven't, any little or any amount will help on the way to our target of £250. So hopefully the Geordie Journos will be part of Team Loaded on that weekend. We'll definitely have a chat about that. But lads, that's a wrap. Open house is done for the evening.
See you on the next one. Thanks for everyone. Have a good evening.
Sir.